Hello, happy 2025. I took a little bit of a break on the holiday, and that break just kind of seemed to extend, but it's good to be back on here and give you guys an update. Before I get into the content of this specific video, I wanted to follow up on my previous video where I mentioned I started taking testosterone replacement therapy. And I had a good 3 month check in, I think at the beginning of January 2025. Had a great check in with my doctor. I was feeling much better. I think, as I stated before in my last video, my sleep has really improved, my mood has really improved, and I have a bit more time where I'm at now to reflect on how my muscles are responding. But I feel good, and I had a good 3 month check in. The doctor noticed that my estrogen levels were a bit high, so he actually put me on an estrogen blocker, which I've been taking for almost a month, and so far so good. Muscularly or strength wise, that's the biggest thing that I'm keen on because that's the area that I struggle the most. I will say my muscles feel better. They seem more quote active, like they're activating in a more healthy way. It sounds weird. I can't quantify that much better than that statement. They feel better. But I will say overall, I don't believe at this point that I am overall stronger than what I have been. And I'm going to bring a weird caveat to that. While I don't overall seem stronger, like I said, my muscles seem to activate a bit better. I've had some surprises. I've had some surprises on some days where I'm like, oh my gosh, getting out of this chair is much easier than it has been. Sorry, I got my dogs barking here. I've had a few of those surprises. They haven't been every other day. I wouldn't say necessarily even once a week, but maybe every week and a half, every 2 weeks, I have a day where I'm surprised that I can do something that I typically normally struggle with, and I get a nice little surprise of, ooh, these assisted air squats feel really good today, or getting out of this chair. So I'll take those wins. But overall, I would say testosterone therapy so far has not really made me much stronger, in my opinion. I do think I need more time. I did tell that to my doctor. But other than the strength that I'm monitoring, I feel really good in every other way. I would say specifically, like I said, sleep, mood, brain function. I would say also this term vitality, your kind of get up and go, your desire to kind of get something done, I would say that's improved as well. So this video, I want to acknowledge that actually I went out of order a little bit. I think in my past 2 or 3 videos, I explained my mineral supplementation, did that for 2 years. I went through, I decided to change it up and started seeing a homeopathic doctor at the beginning of 2024. I'm still doing that. And this fall, I started testosterone replacement therapy. But actually, there is something in between me starting homeopathic therapy and homeopathics and my testosterone therapy, and I wanted to go over that with you. I'll start by giving a weird story where I don't know if you guys watch season 1 of Sherlock Holmes with Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman. Excellent series. When they first meet each other, Sherlock Holmes gives Dr. Watson insight into who he is, having never met him before. The great deductionist, I guess you would say, of Sherlock, he deduced that, and he noticed that Dr. Watson has a limp, and he made what seemed like a rude comment and an offensive one to Dr. Watson about how his therapist thinks that his limp and his injuries are actually all in his head and psychosomatic. And that's actually what happened to me. And I'm going to give you a little brief on how that went. I connected with an old friend, a childhood friend whom I love dearly. We just kind of fallen out of touch, but we reconnected in the past year and a half, 2 years. And I told him what was going on with my health. I told him I kind of switched off mineral supplementation and started seeing a homeopathic. And he says something to me that was similar to what Sherlock said to Dr. Watson. And it was along the lines of, Mike, what if it's in your head? What if it's not real? What if this is a mind problem? What if you don't have inclusion body myositis? However you phrased it, I remember immediately being pretty pissed off, and I was offended. I was like, dude, I got a diagnosis. They took a muscle tissue sample from me. Like, I can't get up the stairs. Like, this is realer than any other real thing that I've done in my life. This is real. And I didn't say those words back to him in exactly that way, but I was, I was offended, and I was like in my head thinking, man, this dude's a jerk, even though I love him dearly. But it did stick with me. And after he made that statement to me, he suggested for me to read this book, The Great Pain Deception, by Steven Ozanich. And of course, I blew it off. I thought it was, I did not think that was real. Didn't think it applied to me at all, but it did stick with me. And I think he made this comment to me around February of 2024, almost exactly a year ago, I believe. And it kept going on my brain. And I think I've told you before, I can be stubborn. I don't know if you guys are stubborn, but I can be. And fast forward to August of 2024, it just, I couldn't shake it. I couldn't shake that thought. What if there is something to what he said? So I ordered this book he told me to get back in February, and I finally read it, and it took me, it was an easy read. You would think this was kind of scientific, but it's not. It's an easy read. And I think I read it over the course of 2 weeks. And my personal strategy, and I feel like he makes the author, Steven Ozanich, he makes a comment like after the first chapter or two about skipping ahead to like some specific techniques to help, which I'll get to in a moment. So, and that's what I did. I read the first chapter or two. He made this comment. I skipped ahead to the end to where he has some suggestions on how to deal with things. And then I went back through the in-between chapters and read the full book. Excellent book. The reason I'm talking to you about it today is because it by far has been the most positive impact to me in how I'm walking and doing on a daily basis, more so than mineral supplementation, more so than homeopathic therapy so far, more so than testosterone treatment. It had the biggest, most immediate and positive impact to me than anything else that I've been that I have been seeking and searching and trying for the past roughly 4 years. I'm not going to go into great detail of the book, but I will pose this question. This book, The Great Pain Deception, it talks about the mind-body syndrome. We know that the vagus nerve is connected to the brain, connected to the gut, and that inclusion body myositis is a inflammatory autoimmune disease. Is this book applicable to me? I'm still asking that question. If I grab a hold of the concepts of this book, will it bring healing for me? Like I said, without a doubt, it has been the most positively impactful thing that I've done in walking more. But I will pose that question because it's still a lingering question in my head. Will this help heal me? Could it help heal you if you're struggling with this disease, or a loved one that you're researching for? Could it? I don't have a definitive answer, but that question still remains for me, and I'll throw that question out to y'all. So what does this book suggest? It basically says that through Western medicine, we're having issues, we're dealing with things. He's not saying, he comes in saying that through Western medicine that sometimes when we have an injury or some pain, some chronic pain, that this actually comes from an issue in our brain where unsuppressed emotions, they have energy, they need to go somewhere. Your body has to deal with them in some way. And if they're not coming out verbally or physically, that energy does something within you, right? And that's a bad thing, and that often can manifest itself in pain. Um, um, I'll pose a different question: Could it create? Could it be a trigger for an autoimmune disease? I believe it can. And so that's kind of the quote science behind this book. Through suppressed emotions, through that energy, we have energy, right? That energy needs to go somewhere. It needs to do something. It's a signal to your body that, hey, something's not right here. And I don't. It doesn't surprise me, at least not now, my age, that I am not good at expressing my emotions. I struggled with anger for a large portion of my life. I'll probably get into that at some point. But basically, to say it a different way, is all this from PTSD, from some suppressed emotion, either through childhood or some trauma, or the trauma of stress or work stress or raising a family and all that. We have 4 kids. Life can be tough and life throws a lot at you. Could all this be from PTSD? I'll leave it at that. I pose the questions to y'all. I encourage you to read it. Just this, at the very least, it'll give you some techniques on stress reduction, which I think are tremendously helpful for people with IBM. The techniques that he gets to in the end of the book, I can't comprehensively go over all of it, but I'll summarize. And meditation is a big part of it. Visualization is a big part of it. There are specific times and methods in visualization that your body will be able to receive. And I got into it, man. As soon as I put the book down, I was like, let's go. I'm going to do this. And I committed to not using my crutches and just not making life more easy for me, not relying so much on my chair, being bold and just putting down the crutches. That got me off of my crutches in my home. That hasn't got me off my crutches full time. But like I said, it was a huge milestone, in my opinion, that immediately got me walking better and walking more on my own, and attacking this thing, this IBM, and not sitting in it and resting in it and accepting it, but fighting against it in numerous ways. And I'll say after August, here it is, from August 2024, here it is at the very beginning of February 2025, I've come to the realization it helped me a lot, but I'm not good at it, and I need to get better at it. And healing in this way, I know takes time. Read the book. It's not easy, but it is free, and it did help me a lot. And I'm not where I need to be yet, but I do need. I do know that I need to grab a hold of this more, practice it more, grab a hold of it better, at meditating and visualization. I'm a believer in the Lord, so my meditation is centered around Him. Your meditation can look all sorts of ways for different people, but for me, I don't want to empty my mind. I want to fill it with good things of the Lord, and so that's what my meditation looks like. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. As a believer, as a Christian, as a person who's following the Lord. That's my story. The Great Pain Deception. Could it help you? Can it help me? It's helped me so far, but can it heal me? Is this a thing that could bring full healing to me? We'll see, but thanks for listening.